Hi, it's Ellen Donaldson of Starleaf Wellness here. Holistic healing acknowledges that there's a fundamental connection between the emotions and the physical body. Anybody who's ever gone through a really stressful time in their life and then gotten sick with a cold or the flu knows this to be true. This video is all about the importance of the mind-body connection in the context of holistic healing. I've got a few examples to share with you of what I mean by mind-body connection, as well as why this is important in the context of your healing process. So the first example I'll share is a client that I was talking to recently who's going through an enormous amount of stress in her life right now. And she's got a lot of physical symptoms happening simultaneously. Headaches and sinus pressure, acid reflux, and some IBS symptoms. And when I asked her, when her stress begins to rise up, where does she feel it in her body? And she thought about it for a moment and she said, I feel it in my head and I feel it in my gut. And a little light bulb went off for her and she said, oh, I think I see that the stress that I'm under is having an impact and exacerbating the physical stuff that I've got going on. Mind-body connection. The second client is someone who I've been working with who's got a frozen shoulder. And as I've gotten to know her, she's talked about how worried she is about her son going off to college and living independently with his complex medical history. And she's also talked about the transition that she's in, going from her role as mom to the next phase of her life, and how much all of that terrifies her. And as we've been working together, she started to notice that when her fear flares, so does her shoulder pain. Mind-body connection. The last example is a client who experiences a lot of emotional overwhelm and sensitivity. He's got muscle pain, joint pain, and is really tired all the time. And he was recently diagnosed with Lyme disease and fibromyalgia. And in the intake process, I asked him if there were any emotions that were really uncomfortable for him to feel. And he thought about it and he said, when I was growing up, I wasn't really allowed to be angry. Anger was not something that we did in my house. So I learned to stuff it. And I said, so when you do get angry now, what happens in your body? And he took a moment and said, I think my body pain flares and my sense of overwhelm is really acute. Mind-body connection. So if you're trying to heal, I suggest you take a look at this. Ask yourself, what am I feeling? What emotions do I consistently feel or consistently avoid? And what happens in my body when I feel them or avoid them? Because that is your mind-body connection. Simply put, it's impossible for your physical body to exist independently from your emotions. Once you understand that your emotional triggers are registered in the body, you've got the keys to unlocking your healing and unwinding long-standing and entrenched issues. So when you anchor into this awareness, you have an enormous amount of power to choose consciously, moment by moment, how you manage your emotions. And this gives your body the opportunity to be balanced and whole and running on all cylinders. So just know that in order to reverse this paradigm, it doesn't have to be painful or take forever. There's no need to revisit old storyline or trauma to release the residual energies that are impacting your body. You simply need to learn some tools that you consistently apply to let those energies go, because your mind-body connection matters.